Well, it was Tony Robbins that said that we do everything in our world, everything, for one of two reasons. One is to get away from something that's yucky, move away from pain, as Tony calls it, or move towards something pleasurable, right? So that's the twin motivating forces that govern every action we take or every action we don't take, depending on whether or not we perceive at a deep unconscious level, whether that will be moving towards something we want or moving away from something we don't want. So have you got a system in place that when you've got to, say you break down your numbers, and certainly that's part of this, you've got to know what to do every day. I think, yeah, that's part of mindset. I've got that as one of my bullet points. Know exactly what you've got to do. So say you know exactly what you have to do to make your goal happen, whatever that target might be. And that consists of some things that are, you know, that you'd rather be watching Netflix. You'd rather be watching the latest movie. You'd rather be binging another season of Game of Thrones. Whatever it is, you'd rather be doing something pleasant than doing this task that you must do every day in order to make this goal happen. Well, have you got a thing that'll make that, the not doing of that unpleasant thing, even more unpleasant than the unpleasant thing? What I mean by that is there are some people that set a negative reinforcement goal to get that twin forces of moving away from something unpleasant working in their favor. What I mean by that is, and I've done this, there was a check for $5,000 written by me, made out to another speaker, a good guy, right? He's, you know, he was a speaker and he was sitting there doing a seminar, and I was the speaker after him. And he had this entire head office pumped. He was sitting there, do you mean it? Have you set your goals? And they're all pumped. They're all punching the air and they're all doing all this. And I'm sitting there, I'm taking notes. It was a good speech. And we're all writing down our goals. And then he said, now, do you really want them? And they say, yeah. And they're all pumped. And he says, but do you really want it this time? Do you mean it this time? Because you know how many times you've let yourself down. And they're all saying, yeah, we're with you and all that. And then he says, righto, write me a check for $5,000. Here's my address. Send it to me. And when you hit your goal, I'm going to burn your check. If you miss your goal, I'm going to bank it, right? Out of a room of about 100 real estate agents that were all punching the air saying they really, really were serious about their goals, 2 people in that room wrote a check for $5,000 and sent it to him. 2, me and their number 1 performer at that time, right? So 98% of the people said they were serious, but didn't trust their own behaviors on a day-to-day basis in order to do it. And what I can promise you, Matt Steinway has done this, Jay Stanley has done this, $2 million performer from over in WA. Him and Vivian Yap often go neck and neck for the number 1 spot in WA, Jay Stanley. So as I said, Matt Steinway's done it, Danelle Weissman has done it. Everyone, by the way, who's done this sort of set yourself up with a punishment if you don't do your daily activities or hit your goal, which will lead to your daily activities. Everyone has always hit their goal. I've never seen anyone miss when doing this. And yet the courage that it takes to do that particular sort of activity, it's tough. You know, it's tough. Like I said, 2 out of about 100 people did it. And one of them was the speaker that was coming on next. And that was me. I hit that goal, you know, months and months ahead of schedule, because what happened at an unconscious level, even though I liked this speaker and still do, even though I, you know, I liked him and really he helped me hit that goal by setting that challenge, I still didn't want him to have my $5,000. And so I worked my butt off